The past year and a half, my startup has been using a service called MainStreet to claim nearly $100,000 of federal tax credits. But until last week, I had no idea how it worked. Today, I'm going to break it down step by step. MainStreet. It's essentially a startup that helps surface federal tax credits to your company that you may be eligible for, and then can also provide cash advances on those credits. If you're a startup, you don't have the bandwidth to go through all the paperwork and the hurdles to claim these tax credits, but they're available for you. And unless you actually do the paperwork, you're not going to be able to access them. This is where MainStreet comes in. They're able to, after a quick survey, identify exactly what R&D tax credits or other tax credits you are eligible for. And then they will help you claim that in exchange for a 20% administrative fee. It's great on paper, but I didn't really understand it until I had a representative walk me through an example. So I'm going to do that same example right here. So let's get ready for some math. MainStreet estimates that your R&D tax credit is worth $60,000. That's how much you're going to claim at the end of this year. So essentially, if $60,000 is the total amount, MainStreet will give you a cash advance of 40% of that, which in this case is $24,000. In the past, this would come in monthly installments, but MainStreet has changed this so that this will be one lump sum dropped in your MainStreet account. You have $24,000 of cash advance, but then there's also the MainStreet administrative fee, which is 20%, which in this case comes out to $12,000. This $12,000 will, at any given point, only represent 20% of the total amount of tax credits that you're eligible for. The way MainStreet makes money is essentially, if they're able to get you tax credits, they'll take 20% of that. If they aren't able to get you tax credits, then they won't take anything. Most companies are actually eligible for R&D credits, especially if you're an early stage startup, but most people aren't even aware that these exist or even how to claim them. So that's why MainStreet is so successful. Let's say that your tax credit is actually not what MainStreet calculated it out to be. So instead of $60,000, it's actually $30,000. MainStreet will do a reconciliation where they'll pay back the amount that they charged you inadequately. So in this case, instead of $12,000, it should have been $6,000, so you'll actually get that $6,000 refund. Let's go back to that cash balance of $24,000. One thing that is important to understand is that this is a cash advance, and if you choose to withdraw it out of your MainStreet account, you will be responsible for paying that back. This was the part that I really didn't understand. I was getting these advances every month, and I was withdrawing them into my account. And then when we got the tax credit, those same charges were reversed. I didn't understand. MainStreet is simply giving you these advances up until you're able to claim that credit. And if you choose not to claim those advances, then they just stay in your MainStreet account until you get your tax credit. Representatives at MainStreet really like to use the Venmo example. So all this money essentially goes into your MainStreet account, kind of like a Venmo balance. And if you don't withdraw it, any amount that would be paid back for the cash advance would just come out of this balance. I have started to do something different than before. Instead of actually withdrawing these cash balances, I've actually decided to leave it in our MainStreet account. A venture-backed startup, having that money today versus tomorrow doesn't really make a difference. But this could be different for your business. That cash balance today could help fund projects, go-to-market strategies for your business, especially if you're an e-commerce business. This could be really valuable. For us, that cash advance is not actually what MainStreet is valuable for. What MainStreet is really great for an early stage startup like us is the ability to access that additional $48,000 of federal tax credit that we would not have had otherwise. I had no idea how any of this worked a week ago, and I hope that this was useful to you as well. And if it was, I'd really appreciate a like or a subscribe. With that, this is Ish, signing off.